Hello, lovely cherubs. I gave you guys a survey last week and I asked you to tell me a little bit about yourselves and about you as a reader and a writer. And I also gave you the chance to ask me something you might want to know about me. And you all had some really good questions. And then I was like, how am I going to answer them? And so I decided I would make a short video in which I would tell you some of the things you want to know. So, first thing I had student ask is when I started teaching. I started teaching I guess 7 years and 2 weeks ago. This is my 8th year teaching middle school, and it's my 3rd year teaching 6th grade. My favorite book is Anne of Green Gables. It's a kind of like a children's-ish book. It's actually pretty good for middle schoolers, and I am obsessed with it so much so that I have over 25 copies of the book in all different editions, including one in Spanish. And I also forced my mother to road trip 15 hours in the car with me to go to Prince Edward Island, Canada, which is where the books take place. Um, I'm obsessed, and I will talk about it forever and ever if you let me. So I won't do that to you now. But if you don't believe how obsessed I am, I'll take a picture of my bookshelf and send it to you. My favorite sport. So I really am into sports where no one comes aggressively toward me or throws anything aggressively at me. So that means my favorite sports in terms of like participation are swimming, biking, and running. So I really am into like triathlons, and I've done one official triathlon and a couple of like unofficial ones. But that's kind of something I really want to get more into is just doing races where I swim and then immediately jump on a bike and then immediately jump into a bathing suit and swim. So those are kind of cool. And I like that they're like a test of your mental strength and your physical strength, but they don't require you to aggressively hit anyone. And also, you don't have to have really excellent hand eye coordination because I don't. In terms of watching sports, I kind of like watching tennis. If I want to take a nap, but like a calm nap on a warm day, I might watch golf. And then I actually find basketball and soccer to be a lot of fun to watch. Um, my favorite thing to go to in middle school sports is cross country meets because I ran cross country in high school, and so I actually know like how to cheer for runners in a way that makes sense. When I go to like field hockey games, I'm just like, hit it, good job, and I don't really know what I'm talking about. So that's a mess. But I still come anyway because I love you guys and I cheer for my students and I'm passionate about that. My let's see, what do I enjoy about writing? I like that it's a way to get your stress out and to get your thoughts on paper. Um, I like just the feel of pen on paper, and I guess I just like that I can get exactly what I want to say, how I want to say it, and I can revise it until it's exactly what I want. Sometimes when you're talking, just like word vomit comes out, but with writing, you can like revise and make it into exactly what you want it to be. Um, so I love it. And it's a great way to get rid of stress. If I'm like feeling overwhelmed about something and I just write down my thoughts, even if I never share them with anyone, it just helps me to write them down. What do I enjoy about writing? I just said that. What's my method of teaching? That's a really big question. My method of teaching. I guess I feel like I really rely a lot on engagement. I think it's important to keep students excited and engaged with content. And so that means not boring lectures all the time. And I also think that kids and students really have good memory for stories. And even adults do too. We really respond well to stories. So I rely a lot on using stories and using examples to illustrate concepts that you need to learn. I like to play games too, to do things that are like competitive that help students to get engaged and excited about learning something. So that's a thing. Um, that question probably could be answered in like its own video, but I am going to just leave it there for now. And you can find out how I teach mostly by watching me do it. Let's see, my favorite. Well, what sports do I play? So I don't know that I play any like traditional sports. Like I said, I do the triathlon stuff. I hike a lot, especially in upstate New York, which is my favorite place in the world. My family's been going there since I was a baby. My parents have been going since before I was born, actually, and it's about 5 hours north of here. Lake George is like the big lake, but Lake Placid is up there too. And I am actually what's called a 46er, which means I've hiked all 46 mountains in the region that are over 4,000 feet. And that was a long process. And I actually kept a blog during the whole experience because you have to submit verbal proof or written proof that you completed all the hikes before they actually let you become a 46er. So I'm an official 46er. I have like a membership card and all that cool stuff. And I'm very proud of it, and it was a big journey, a big feat, but it was also so much fun. Except for a couple mountains, which were torturously horrible, and I cried on the way down of those. Let's see, my da, 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 da. Anything. What is my favorite candy? I used to be into like really sweet sour stuff, like Sour Patch Kids and things like that. But since I've gotten older, I've gotten more into just chocolate. I, in fact, have a whole drawer in my refrigerator. It's usually the drawer where people put like deli meat and cheese and stuff, and instead I use it for chocolate. So I literally have a chocolate drawer in my fridge. Not kidding you. Sometimes I put toasted coconut in there too, but it's mostly just chocolate. So like a dark chocolate raisin would be like right up my alley, or oh, I also like those really gross waxy candies like juji fruits and jujubes. They're like grossly satisfying. I love them. Am I friends with Miss Fom? Yeah, Miss Fom is the bomb diggity. I don't know if she knows how much I'm obsessed with her. I mean, we're like friends, but like we don't teach in the same school, but I'm constantly telling her how awesome she is because she is. Let's see. Where do I get my cookie recipe from? Oh, I can't tell you that. Yes, I can. Actually, I'll totally tell you. So here's what I did. I take the Toll House cookie recipe, like the Nestle Toll House chocolate chips, and I make that recipe. However, I do a couple of key important things. You might not think they're that important, but they are that important. First of all, I usually at least double or triple the recipe. Second of all, I use way more flour than the recipe calls for. So the recipe says 2¼ cups, and I use 3 cups, maybe even more. And then I don't use as many chocolate chips. So if I like double the cookie recipe, then I only still use maybe 1 bag of chocolate chips for the double cookie recipe. I also fully melt the butter, like full on, completely melt it till it's liquid. It's kind of gross looking. And then I absolutely, the most important thing besides the extra flour is that I always make sure to refrigerate the dough for at least 24 hours. That's a pretty key item of importance. Have I ever had a pet? Growing up, my family once had a goldfish named Marigold, and that is the story of my pet life. My dad was really anti-dog growing up, so, like, we didn't get pets or anything like that because he thought they were just gross and expensive and annoying. Um, but I never was really like a big animal lover, period. So I was never like really begging for a pet or anything. Although I did recently find one of my first grade journals in which I described how I wanted to have like 17 pets and like 6 rabbits and 3 hermit crabs. I was kind of shocked that I wrote that, but apparently I did. Um, Currently, I have 3 siblings, and of the 4 of us, I'm the only one that does not have a dog. So they've all yielded to the pressures, but I have not. But maybe one day, who knows? Let's see. How long have I been teaching? 8 years. And how good are the cookies I make? They're amazing. Best cookies I would say that you will ever have. Um, I usually think it's rude to be like arrogant and obnoxious about things, but I'm arrogant about this one thing. I make a really good chocolate cookie. What college did I go to? So for my undergrad, so right after high school, I went to a college called Franklin and Marshall, which is a little school in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I love Lancaster. I love Franklin and Marshall. It was an amazing experience, and I had such a great time. And then right after that, I went to grad school at the University of Pennsylvania. And then just this past over the past 2 years or so, I got my principal certificate. So I actually have newly certified myself to become a school principal if I wanted to be. But right now, I do not want to be. Let's see. Why do I hate cheese so much? Because it's gross. It's like it smells bad, especially like my parents really like this Asiago cheese. That stuff smells like death. So disgusting. I do, however, have a few weird cheese exceptions. I will eat ravioli, just like basic ricotta cheese ravioli, and I will eat pizza as long as it's not too cheesy. And I will eat my mom's macaroni and cheese, but no one else's. Definitely, like, truly no one else's. It's a very weird thing. I can't really explain myself. My favorite sports team, I don't really have like massive sports loyalties. I mean I like the Philly teams because I'm from here, but I also feel like I tend to pick my favorite sport teams based on their colors. So I like the Seattle Seahawks because their uniforms are really snazzy with the blue and the lime green. And I also am into the Baltimore Ravens because their team name, the Ravens, comes from a famous poem by a Baltimore-based poet named Edgar Allan Poe. I'm just a po' boy. Nobody loves me. Um, there's a shirt that says that. I really want to buy it. Um, I wish I could edit this video, but you're getting what you're getting. So I like the Baltimore Ravens because, and also because they're purple. Purple's my favorite color. Um, let's see. What's my favorite flavor of tea? My go-to tea is basically like any dark English breakfast tea. I like to put sugar and a little bit of lemon in it, but never cream. That's gross. Although that's what they do in England. So I want to be cool like the English people, but I just really I don't like milk, so no milk in the tea. If it's like an iced tea, I like it fruity, like a mango or something. And then if it's evening, I might go for like a dessert tea, like a chocolate Earl Grey or something like that. Most teas are on my good list. The only ones I really don't like are there's this one called Lapsang Souchong that literally tastes like you ate a bonfire. So if you ever want to feel like what it feels like to eat a bonfire, just drink some Lapsang Souchong tea and you will have experienced it. Let's see, what else? What makes me frustrated? Oh gosh, I would say when people complain about everything or even just about certain things over and over again, I get really frustrated with that because I just feel like we have so much to be thankful for. And so even if sometimes we get frustrated, I think the complaining is really kind of off-putting to me. And then I also I'm discovering more and more as I get older. I'm 34, I'm getting old, and I'm discovering that I really value quiet. And so really noisy places or people or things tend to drive me insane. Um, so if you are like a really loud chewer or like you click a pen constantly or you're just a really loud talker, I will be nice to you, but I'm not going to find that pleasant. um, how was my day? My day was great. It's actually been pretty hard last week or two, if I'm being honest. This remote learning thing is really, really hard, and I am really struggling with not being able to see my students in the flesh, and I've cried about it a lot. But I also am trying to stay positive and to find the good and to just love you guys how I can from where I am. How did I become a writer? I guess when I was in school, I had some really good teachers, and probably my favorite teacher I ever had was my teacher, Miss Naso, who, funnily enough, is still my really good friend. And I was just telling her, I was like, it's really nice that you stayed my friend for literally 23 years after you had to. Like, I was in her fifth grade class, and we've been friends for the 23 years since then, and she's awesome. And when we were in her class in fifth grade, she talked a lot about these things called snapshots, where we would basically try and write about a scene almost like it was a picture. So we wanted to almost create a picture in someone's mind without them actually having a picture. And it really stuck with me. And it's like still something I try to do when I write is to like give people a picture of what's happening in that moment. Do I like Frozen? Yeah, I love Frozen. Do I like Elsa? She's cool. Um, but I mostly like Olaf. He's the coolest. One, da, 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 da. Oh, this one's a big, long question. What does this question say? Am I married? No, I'm not married. I don't have any children. I do have three siblings, all of whom are married. My sister and my brother both got married last year, one in May and one in September. And so I was the maid of honor at my sister's wedding, which was a lot of fun. And now, since then, my sister has had a baby who was just born about 2 weeks ago, and he's precious and adorable, and I'm going to be his favorite aunt. He doesn't know that yet, but I'm going to be. Um, my parents have been married for almost 40 years, and yeah, those are my dearest and nearest family. I also have a lot of cousins. My parents are both the fifth of nine children. So I grew up in a large Catholic family. So my parents were both the fifth of nine, and I have a lot of first cousins, over 50 of them. But unfortunately, because there's so many of us and because we're so spread out, we don't see each other that often, except for there's one set of cousins who are all, there's four of them, and then there's four of us in my family with my siblings. And so the four of them and the four of us were like best friends growing up. And my mom's sister, their mom actually passed away when I was pretty young. And so after that happened, they would come and spend a lot of weekends at our house. And we just became like brothers and sisters. So I almost feel like sometimes I don't have three siblings, I have seven. Um, and I'm just really, really thankful for them. We get along really well. And the oldest one, who's the same age as me, she's also a language arts teacher in Alabama. Do I have any pets? No. Do I have any children? No. Maybe one day, unknown. I feel like I have 150 children because I teach middle school, and sometimes that's enough. But other times I think it'd be cool to have a kid. So I don't know. We'll see. How long have I been teaching? Oh, someone said she's really cool. That's not really a question, but thanks. My favorite type of dog. Okay, so if I was going to get a dog, which I'm not, but if I was, I would probably get a mini Bernedoodle, which is a mix of a Bernese Mountain Dog and a poodle. And it's probably surprising to you that since I don't want a dog or really even like dogs that much, that I have an answer to that question. But I was in Pittsburgh last year visiting a friend, and we were in this hotel getting brunch, and there was this couple with this adorable dog, and I was like, I do not even like dogs, but I'm obsessed with your dog and I need to know everything about it. And they were like, oh, well, it's a mini Bernedoodle. And I wrote it down in my notes in my phone. And I just remember, I don't know what I'm going to do with that information, but I like that kind of dog. And I also like that poodle breeds don't shed because I don't like having dog hair everywhere. Let's see. How did I get into the teaching career? I kind of answered that, but basically, like I was working in the study abroad realm industry, and I kind of realized that I I love traveling, but my favorite part of the job was like getting to work with students, and I felt like it just made sense that I'd be teaching. And growing up, I used to always say I wanted to be a teacher, and then I kind of like strayed from that for a while, and so I'm glad to be back there. Do I have any pets? No. Let's see. If at one point, oh, this is an interesting question. At any point in your life, did you not like writing? I would say no, I've always liked writing, but there are definitely points where I don't do it as much as I should. So I have to really sometimes, even though I enjoy it, it's sometimes hard to make time for things we enjoy because, we enjoy a lot of things and some things are a little easier or lazier. So I know I sometimes would rather watch YouTube than write, but I try and kind of make myself do it even when I don't want to right away because I always am happier in the end that I did it. What do I do every year? I teach children. That's a big question. I mean, I do a lot of things every year. I celebrate my birthday every year. I don't know. I do a lot of stuff, so I'm not really sure what that question means, but I do a lot of things every year. Um, how long have I been teaching? Oh, oh, that's nice. Do I like reading or writing better? That's a toughie. I really love them both, but I think that if you said to me, you're going to sit on this deserted island for the next year and you can write and not read, or you can read and not write, what would you pick? I think I would choose the reading. I just really love to escape into a good book. I really like sad books, which is weird, I know, but like I really, I don't know, I like the sadness and the depth of them. This person says, I want to know anything about Miss Whitman. Well, hopefully you've learned some stuff. Do I like socks and sandals? Sure, I guess. There was like a period in my life when I kind of rocked that look, but now I just go flip flops, which don't require socks and would be kind of painful with socks, I think. Oh, someone said I was funny. Thanks. I'm sort of funny. I had a student last year though who claimed I was not funny, and then I made it my personal mission to make her realize how funny I am. I think she's gotten to realize it, but I'm not sure. What's my favorite hobby? I have a lot of them. I like dancing around like a lunatic in my house. That's fun. I like to bake stuff. I like to bake cookies and scones. I also like to go into Philadelphia and just like explore cool places. I like to go to cool restaurants and coffee houses and parks and just enjoy being out in nature. Um, and let's see. I guess that's yeah. I love to play piano. I sing opera and like a lot of classical music type stuff. I actually had a job in grad school on the side as a singing waitress where I would sing opera to the restaurant customers. That was fun. How fun is this going to be? How fun is this year going to be? Someone literally asked that question. The answer is more fun than you can possibly imagine. Imagine something sort of fun and then make that even bigger and then even bigger and then so big that you can't even imagine it anymore. That's how fun it will be. What do I like to do in my spare time? I just kind of told you that. I mostly like to be with my family too. I should have mentioned that first and foremost. Like when I have spare time, I like to be with my family. I just love them very much. We have a lot of fun together. I really like my siblings. Growing up, we didn't really get along all that well sometimes, but now like we're super tight and I love them a lot. Have I been skydiving? And if not, would I go? No, I have not been, but yes, I would. And the reason I would, even though it's not particularly appealing to me, is because I have a relatively recent dream, but it is a life dream now. And I want to be on the TV show The Amazing Race. I'm pretty obsessed with it. It's this show where you and a teammate compete against a bunch of other pairs of people to travel around the world. And the team that solves all the problems and riddles and stuff and gets to the end first wins $1 million. And I really want to be on it. I already have a teammate picked out. It's my little brother, Brian. He's kind of being a little bit uncertain about his participation. So I'm a little bit annoyed about that. But I'm going to keep begging him and torturing him until he agrees. And usually that show involves some kind of like skydiving or bungee jumping or something like that. I think it would scare the living daylights out of me, but I would do it because I'd want to win, and it'd be really, I think it'd be really fun once I got past my fears. Did I play any sports when I was younger? I played soccer when I was in elementary school. I was really bad. My dad used to give me these lectures about being aggressive on the way to soccer practice, and I would literally cry in the car because I was like, I'm not aggressive. And he would be like, be aggressive. And I was like, I'm not. It was horrible. it took me a while, like probably till my first year of high school to realize that I should probably be doing a sport where no one is that aggressive. And so that's when I switched to running cross country. I was also on the swim team growing up, and I didn't like that at first either. I cried into my goggles a lot, but then as I got older, I started to really enjoy it. And now I'm so thankful that I did it because now I can swim really far without any problem, and it's great. What Hogwarts house am I in? Slytherin. You're in Slytherin person? I am not in Slytherin. I would say I am probably a Ravenclaw. Um, but I would like to be a Gryffindor. I aspire to be a Gryffindor. I don't know. Maybe I can change as I grow and mature. We'll see. Um, what state am I originally from? This is not a very exciting answer. New Jersey. I was born right in Camden at Our Lady of Lourdes Hospital. But I did leave the state. So I did college in Pennsylvania, and then I spent semesters in Spain, and I spent some time in Costa Rica. I lived in Peru, in Belize, visited Mexico. So I'm pretty well traveled, although I'd like to travel a lot more. But yeah, originally from New Jersey. I grew up in the town of Haddon Heights and I went to Haddon Heights High School. Who inspired me to become a writer? I think my teachers who really believed in me. I had some teachers who really just made me feel like I was talented and that I had the ability to write well. One teacher was that one I mentioned earlier, Miss Naso. Another was the superintendent at our school district in Haddon Heights, and she talked to me one time. I guess she was looking at like a writing response that I'd written for a standardized test, and she like reached out to me and told me that it was really good, and she wanted to use it as an example for something. And I was like really, really honored, and I think that really made me feel like this is something I want to do. Where do I live? I live in Collingswood. I live a couple blocks from school on a street called Merrick Avenue, right by Newton Lake. And if you ever see the house with the little tiny library in front on Merrick Avenue, that's my house. You can always drop by and grab a book. It's free, or you can leave a book. If you have a book that you read and you think someone else would enjoy, you can just put it in there, and it's really cool. I sit on my porch a lot, so if you ever see me, make sure you say hi. Do I have any family members? I think I answered that pretty much. Let's see. What did I want to be when I was a kid? I think I largely wanted to be a teacher, and then I went through like a short phase when I wanted to be a lawyer, and then there was definitely a long phase that's still not ended where I wanted to be like a travel show host and travel the world and just like have a show and talk about it. But I'm still hoping that dream comes true. We'll see. So, this took way longer than I thought. I hope that this video did not bore you to pieces and that you got to learn a little bit about me. I love all of you so much, and so a big part of me is just how much I love this job, teaching you and loving you. And so I hope that we have a great year together, and I love you all very much. Bye.